So tell us, our term for the day is 15-minute cities and smart cities. Explain to us what is a smart city? What is a 15-minute city?
Well, originally, I think they had a plan because they had in England they had the Smart City Index in the mid to late 2000s, and it was seven or eight cities in the UK, and Bristol and London were really the flagship smart cities, and they were putting in infrastructure into those smart cities, like the Internet of Things, putting all the AI in, trying to get everything to work in this very efficient system. But then I don't know. I think it just didn't move fast enough because we had various accelerations like they accelerated the agenda from 1992 at the Earth Summit. They wanted everything done by the year 2000 with these 8 Millennium Goals. That didn't happen. So then they accelerated it again in 2015 and created 2030, which is just a goal of Agenda 21. And that didn't quite work. So then the COVID thing happened, and the rest is history. So what happened really is, after COVID, when we were sleeping, all the infrastructure went in to really to accelerate all of the 17 goals, like the infrastructure, the biometrics went into supermarkets, the infrastructure went in for the 15-minute cities and the ULEZ, ultra emission zones in the UK, and the low traffic neighbourhoods.
Sandy, can I ask a question? So from what we were reading, and do correct me if this is wrong, we were reading that Oxford and maybe a few other places were going to be the test places for this years back. And then we followed that a bit and interviewed a few people over there, and there was a few people trying to push back against it. Can you talk it to, because I think it's really important people know, having just come back from England where people think smart cities are wonderful, what it actually means to have a smart city. What is that life going to be like from the test places that you've had in England?
People's lives in Oxford, Canterbury, and Cambridge have been significantly affected by these 15-minute cities. A lot of the time, the traffic is pushed out onto the ring roads, which are then very congested and cause pollution because they're congested, and people cannot move freely. And trying to get what they're saying is you must use public transport or walk or cycle. Well, that's all very well, but if you've got 4 children, it's pouring with rain, you're trying to get them to school in a hurry because you've got to get to work. None of this works. If you've got elderly parents the other side of the city, none of this works, and it's made people's lives hell. And the taxation as well. If they do go into the wrong zone, they get the number plate recognition gives them a fine, and this is a taxation, and it's creating a prison for these people. It's about creating a city where everything that you have in that city is within 15 minutes of your location. So you have everything there, and they're building infrastructures to fulfill that, so that you don't need to leave. It's like an open prison. Yeah, it's an open prison. So the whole thing is dystopian. A lot of people think it's saving the planet. It is not saving the planet. It is actually imprisoning you. And this is what the aim is. It's about total control. It's about restriction of movement. And, it is also about bringing in the Internet of Things, the Internet of Bodies, to link up with the CBDC, to make sure that everything is tracked and traced, and that all of your data is in one place, To try and explain this to people, they don't believe it because it is so dystopian. They cannot get their heads around the fact that their governments are doing this. And that's the biggest problem. It's like finding out your parents are axe murderers, basically.
I don't pretend to understand net zero, but I've seen enough presentations by people who look like they do know what they're talking about, who say you can't meet net zero targets without radical depopulation.
Exactly.
Is that Do you think that's the case?
I do. I mean, I actually, Lou did flag up the the Absolute Zero report, which is UK specific. The Absolute Zero report was something that was debated in the House of Lords, and asked, they called for it to be put into immediate action, and it calls for all the airports and in the UK to be closed down by 2050, by 2049. No shipping in or out of the UK by 2049. No gas appliances, no wood burners, all this kind of thing. And really, they're destroying our farming at the same time. And
Right.
it's my view that, apart from what's going on with the general depopulation that we're seeing in health, we also could easily have rationing and they're trying to starve the UK, in my view, because of the awful draconian measures they're putting on our farmers and covering our land in renewable energy, which is useless. When the sun doesn't shine, the wind doesn't blow in the UK, it's producing nothing, absolutely nothing. And they're trying to get rid of all our means of keeping warm and producing our own food. So people are beginning to see the climate change lie, I hope, even some MPs. So we just have to keep literally pushing out the information, pushing, and don't stop, never give up, never give in. And no matter how, some days I wake up and I think, oh my God, we're not winning this, we're not winning. But you just have to, we've got children, we've got grandchildren. This is not a world I want them to grow up in. And the more, if we don't wake up, we will end up in these concentration camps, and we have to really wake up, smell the coffee, and keep pushing the information out. That's all we can do.